Great. You made it back. I'm glad. So we're going to go into this pottery place, and I just wanted to show you an old boiler. When we think of locomotives, you know, and this is a boiler that was used for industrial use, but it's so cool, I just wanted to show you. So we'll head on in. So this is the boiler I wanted to show you. Hey, how you doing? This is the William Brothers Boiler and Manufacturing Company, Minneapolis, Minnesota. That gives you an idea how big this boiler was, and you know, I'm sure they had more than several of them within the pottery complex and the sewer pipe complex. And you know, boilers are related to railroads, so I just had to show you this. So this is at the front entrance when you walk into the Pottery Place Mall. There's an assortment of antique shops here. There's apartments, there's offices, candy shop. I think there's a, oh yeah, the Pie Brothers is here. Up there you can see a little sign. You can see the tables over here. Oh man, now I want pie. Well, I'll have to forego it for now. This is the front of this, and I'll show you the back side, and then we'll have to take off. We got to keep going. So what they did was they cut the bottom of this boiler off, and that's the top, and they left all the fittings up there. See the fittings over there? So this is the underside. There you go. Isn't that cool? Now that looks like an old rail system of something. And this is remnants of when they used to make their pottery. And then don't forget, everything came in here by rail, and after they made their product, it was all shipped out by rail. So these must be, you know, part of the old kilns. Okay, there's the pottery building. And we're going to drive around the building where the spur was, and we'll wind up on this far end, and this is where the railroad went through. And I'll also put up that picture again that I had of this area, and I did mark where a few things were on it so that you can see exactly where these rails went. So as we pull out now, back down that way is the way we were coming from. About where that hotel is, that's where the rail yard was. There was 8 tracks down in that area. And now we're gonna hop on Old West Main. I just love the ring of that, huh? Isn't that history orientated? It's good to see a town, you know, keeping up their heritage. So right along here, where you see this building, that was the spur right there. And on the other side of this road, wouldn't be able to see it right now, is the CP rail system, and that was the old Milwaukee Road. So I'll pull into this driveway up here. Now keep in mind that what you see right in this whole area, this was all buildings in here. This was all part of the pottery complex. Yeah. So I'm trying to line myself up here with our main line. And I'm almost there. Okay. I'm gonna open up my windows so I don't have to get out of the truck here. All right, that's where we're coming from. That building there is the Pottery Museum we were at. So we're on the rail tracks here. And now swing around. I'm trying to do it slow. My wife says I keep making people dizzy. And right there, that's your railroad track, your main line, and it's going to be splitting off, and it's going to be going towards the leather factory and out towards Mankato to the left, and then a little bit further past that motel, it's going to go to the right and go off to Cannon Falls. So I'll hop over there next. So right here now, someone built a motel right in our way. This is where the railroad tracks went through. I'm gonna make a small turn and I'll show you where the round table was. Okay, I'm gonna do this one from in my truck. Here's Beer Stube, right here at the bowling alley. There's our bridge for Highway 61. Here's that motel we saw. And you see this walking sign? This is right where that Roundhouse and turntable was for the Chicago Great Western, right here. And through social media, I wound up, a gentleman contacted me. He was an excavator that dug the excavation for this motel, and he was telling me that they dug up lots of concrete in this area, and you know that concrete actually came from the Roundhouse when they tore it down in the turntable. So this is it. We are in the Roundhouse right now. One of the railroad tracks that we're going to follow cross the creek. Oh, I'd say just beyond that upright that's holding the bridge over here. So we have to get to the other side. And I see a snowmobile path over there. You see that snowmobile path? Yeah, you see that snowmobile path, eh? So now I'm going to go find a way to get on that snowmobile path. And then out in this direction over here, there's got to be a trestle over here where it crossed the creek in both places. So we're going to go and see if we can find it. Okay, so what we're going to do is play connected dots. There's that motel. And probably where you see that door out there. Let me see if I can pan in. Yeah, right about there, that area. That's your railroad tracks. Now I'm going to pan around. Try and go slow. And right down there are the remains of the old trestle that went over the creek. Can you see them? And the sporting goods shop, that's right on the other side over there. Yeah, so I'm gonna see if I can get on that snowmobile path and see if I can find this. This is the leg that's gonna go out towards Cannon Falls. So we're going to go see if we can catch that. Okay, I found it. I'm on the side of the Four Seasons Sports. And here's the creek. And you can see the motel way up there in the background. And here's the remnants of the trestle that crossed the creek. So this would be coming from where the turntable was and that area. And it's going to run through right here. That's all been filled in. That building wasn't there. And it's going to go up the road and it's going to turn in and cross the street at the gas station at Wilson's. So we'll head up that way. So just as I was getting ready to take this video, a train came by. This is the CP Rails, and back in the day that was the Milwaukee Road. So I'll swing over this way, and I'm trying to line myself up so I can take a video of those tracks coming across the street here where the old West Depot was. And just a short story about the picture we're going to fade into. Remember in the first segment of this, I said a lady gave me a folder full of information and there were some photos in it, and this is one of the photos. And I just love it because of its patina. And it's the one I use on my Mr. B's Hiawathaland Rails Facebook page. That's my banner. So I'm going to fade that picture in now. So that's the Cannon Valley Trail. That's our railroad bed. Going to Cannon Falls. And right about over here, right about where you see this trail making the bend and these couple of trees, this is where that building was in the picture, that old depot, that West Side Depot. Right about there is where that building sat. And now I'll pan around. I'll stay on the same angle that's coming through on the railroad bed so we can see where it crossed the street. And right here is where it crossed the street. You can see that diesel sign out there. This is Wilson Oil, VP. And right about that diesel sign is about, maybe 2/3 into the curve as it went to the left. And then if we go to the side, that's that sport building we were at just a few minutes ago. And right about in there is where your railroad tracks were going to that old trestle that we just saw. So that's kind of cool. Okay, so here we are. And now it's going to start right about in here. It's straightening out and it's going out this way. And where that old trestle was that we saw is right down here in this area. That's your railroad tracks going out that way. Right through there. If I could hold this straight. I'd bring my tripod, but gosh, I hate carrying that around with me all the time. But that's where the railroad tracks were. See, that's just cool history, huh? You'd never know that looking from up here. Oh, wow. My fingers are freezing holding the camera. You know, I think it's spring, it's March, you know. But, you know, Minnesota winters want to hang on. Just wanted to touch base again. There were many other places that the Chicago Great Western serviced. I just picked out a few to show you along the way as we traveled on the railroad tracks. So if you thought of something else that was there and said, hey, well, that was there too. Well, yeah, it probably was, but I didn't want to make a real long video. As it is, I had to make two parts. So that's why I just picked out a few places to highlight what was along the tracks. From here, we're going to go back over where the round table was. I'm going to find a way to get down on that snowmobile trail, and we're going to walk back there, and then from there we're going to make our way to the SB Foot Leather Factory, and then go out to see where it left Red Wing on its way to Hay Creek. So before we go out there, I want you to know that there's some muddy places, there's some icy places, there's snow. So I want you to make sure you got a good pair of boots before we go out there. So I think we should go and at least look at a couple of boots that were made with the SB Foot leather before we go out there. So we're going to go there next. So that leather is made in Red Wing. You can stop this video if you want to and have yourself a read at this. This is the Salisbury Foot Leather Company, circa 1900. And this is called a leather horse that they lay their leather on. So this is the home of the world's largest boot. So if you got big feet, I think you'll find one here that'll fit your foot. So is that big enough for you? You think that'll fit? If you're wondering how I'm getting back, I'm just following a snowmobile path. And then looking to the side as they walk down the snowmobile path. That's really made it pretty simple. So I didn't have to traipse through a lot of weeds. So you can see how all of this has been built up. That's where the turntable was, the Roundhouse. I'm standing across the creek here, and somewhere in this area the railroad crossed the creek, and I'm trying to see if I can see some remnants of this railroad on this side. So I'm walking up an old path. Gee, the older I get, the harder this gets. But there's the embankment where the railroad tracks cross the river, creek, whatever you want to call it. So I'll go over there now. Okay, I'm going to line myself up with this. You can see the pillars, and bring my camera up, and you can see where that came in from. This would have been your main line now going out to Mankato. That's 61 up there. So it would have went out that way. I'm going to walk up to that point there, that high point, see if I... Okay, we're coming from out there. Out there, I'm on that high point. And what I'm thinking is that this had all been dug out of here for some reason. And if I swing around this way, I'm on the old rail bed. That's right. Things just keep getting better. Yeah, so I'm gonna walk down the old rail bed a little bit. Now this was going out towards the Foot Leather Factory, And then there was a spur that went there. And then this went out and crossed Pioneer Road. And it went out to Hay Creek and Goodhue and Zimbrota, and eventually made its way out to Mankato. Well, that's where we're coming from. There's 61, and that's rail bed there, continues on, but the snowmobile trail goes off to the left. So that's full of brush. I can't really, get through that. So I'm gonna walk across this. And this rail bed comes up and it goes right into that filled area where they have, looks like there's sand and gravel. And I don't know if I can pick it up on the other side or not. So I'm just gonna stop here for now. Boy, I sure picked the day to do this. It's pretty cold. The wind just goes right through you, but I couldn't sit in the house any longer. Yeah, I had to get out. The wife says, well, I admire your spirit. Can you drop me off at Joann Fabrics on your way? So that's where she's at. So I have to think about going to pick her up. I don't know how much time can a lady spend in Joann Fabrics. So that's where we were, where we found the old remnants of the trestles. And then we followed this rail bed. You can see it there. And we followed that rail bed all the way up into this point. And that's where it ran into this gravel. So I'm on Bench Street and Featherstone, and all of these roads have been reworked in here. And Bench Street was certainly not this main 4-lane highway it is, and all of this ground has been filled in for the highway and that sort of thing. And we've got the swamp down in this area. It's pretty much the way it would have been back then. And out this way, if I was to zoom in, that's back by the Red Wing Construction Company. Right there, you can see a barn there. And that's about where the railroad was coming through here. And coming up this way towards the SB Foot Tanning Company. And the only thing I can see is a place just off the road right here. There's a little bit of a knoll here. It's pretty low. And if I was to bet on it, I'd say that's where the railroad came through and could be part of the old bed. But because I see the holes here dug around and that sort of thing, I can't say for sure. So all I can say is this would be the general area. And if I was to pan around again nice and slow, I'm thinking it would have been going up that way. That building certainly wouldn't have been there. Well, according to my maps and that, right here, all I can say is the general area of where the tracks came through. I can't pinpoint any exact spot, but I know it's in this area that we're looking at. And that is Bench Street up there. And this is the general area of where I'm going to show you another photo. I'm thinking that this road that you see here, this is our Red Wing Waste Campus, this road right here. I'd want to say that's exactly where the railroad track went through for the main line, but it's all been redone, so it's hard to tell. But when you look at this photo, I want you to look at where the main line is and where the spur is for the tannery. I'll pan in on that tannery building so you can see the back of that building. Okay, and that building's got an addition on it, a lower part of the addition, but you can see where the main 2-story or 3-story part of that building ends on the back. So that spur would have went right directly behind that building. So you can see where the spur was. And then in the photo, the main line was just a little bit further off. So yeah, I'm thinking this would probably be the tracks, or really close. So I'll get that photo now, and I'll try and get in the exact spot lined up towards the back of that building that this was taken. And that photo, I was at the Gandy Dancers for their train show at Christmas in Red Wing, and I saw this photo there, so I took a photo of a photo, and this is it right now. So I moved over to get another angle, and you can see the building there. And it looks like I don't know, something white there in front of a block building. I'm gonna say that right there where you see that, maybe it's a white trailer or something, I don't know, I can't tell from here. But I'm gonna say that's where the spur was for this building, right there. And then to the left would have been where the main line was. So this is how big this company has grown. This is that SB Foot Tanning Company. And we've already seen some of the products they made when we went to the Red Wing Shoe Company store and museum. Okay, so I am on the other side of the tannery. You can see one of their buildings back there. And there's a creek, small creek here that runs along this bank that you can see here. And this bank is on a curve from this point here. It curves to the right as it goes back. And that knoll there that's railroad bed. And I'll give you another view. I'm going to bring you back over here, right here in this area here. And I'm going to give you... All right, here's another view. Now you can see that. That's another old railroad trestle that was crossing this creek. And that's the half that's on the far side of the creek now. And the section that was on this side of the creek is gone totally. And if you look close, you can see that knoll that I'm talking about right there. And it kind of winds to the right as it goes back. So before it gets back there to that building, it's going to the right behind the Foot Tannery old building that was in that photo. And I'm on Pioneer Road right now. I think you can hear the cars behind me. I'll pan around slowly. And naturally, this road that we're looking at here has all been built up. You can see that it starts to dip down a little bit on the other side of the road again. And that's our railroad bed right there. right there, and it's coming in. It crosses the road on an angle, then it bends to the right a little bit. So there's our railroad bed. And there's our ruins of our trestle right down there. And that's where it would have crossed the road. So you can see how much higher that road has been built up. So just another view of that. That goes out to Hay Creek, Goodhue, Zumbrota, winds up out in Mankato. That's pretty cool, hey? So this is where the video ends. We finally reached the other end where it goes out of Red Wing to Mankato. And I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. And I'll see you on my next one. Hope you'll join me. And God bless all of you. Chugga, 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 woo, woo. Chugga, 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 chugga.